We all want to keep up with the news, but sometimes the sheer pace and nature of breaking stories can cause real anxiety and stress. Today, I want to talk about how you can take a slower approach to the news with things like news magazines that can help you understand world events without getting yourself too worked up. I've tried to mix things up a bit for this video, so do give me a like if you enjoy it. And if this is the second or third video of mine that YouTube has shown to you, then why not take that as a sign and consider subscribing? You can't keep relying on them forever, right? I also need to say that I do work for The Guardian, so I may have some element of bias here, although I'll try not to bring that through in my commentary. But any views that I do have are my views and not The Guardian's views. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so just covering New Scientist straight away, and I've chosen this one because it's got one of the most striking covers. You can see that this one really had a special feature on evolution, and I think the illustration that they've done is really brilliant for this cover. It's quite light, it's got quite a nice feel to it, and it's not going to be too loud when you sort of rub in pages together, but you can still sort of feel a nice flow to the magazine as you kind of turn the page. This is a really brilliant example of some of the images that you can see in these magazines. It's a really beautiful photo, but it's obviously quite a difficult subject because it's about the US wildfires. But even still, it's a great example of how these magazines can help you understand what's going on in the world without necessarily doing it in a really rapid format. And it can still be really impactful. In fact, probably more impactful than reading a live blog or something. And you can see as you go through that New Scientists tend to handle subjects in different levels of complexity. So in some cases it's quite easy to understand for the layman. Sometimes it's a bit more difficult and it does go into the kind of upper echelons of science. But here's this cover story, and you can see this is one that they have gone into quite a lot of detail on, but it's written in a really understandable format, and that beautiful image again. With different aspects of evolution. So this time looking at the Guardian Weekly, again, really beautiful colours. When you open it up, you get this wonderful world map that gives you a breakdown of the most important stories throughout the world. And again, one thing that you notice with this is that the papers are really high quality. You can hear that when you rub it together, it feels really good in your hands. And there's enough heft to the pages, so you get that really nice turning. Oh look, I seem to have picked an issue where Liverpool won the Champions League. I wonder why I chose that one. But again, you get some really good focused stories. This is obviously the main story of the cover. And you can see that it goes into things in quite a lot of depth. It also has these really stunning eyewitness pages that show stunning photographs from the world. That's the Guardian Weekly. Taking a look at the New Yorker, this cover might be familiar to you if you've seen some of my other videos, but it's a really beautiful one. I absolutely love this painting of the lady skiing with her dogs. I'm just going to pull that up there so you can see that actually. It's a really beautiful cover. It's a really nice blend between news and literature. There's a lot of deep dives in there, but there's also just nice little things that entertain you. Nice little cartoons and comic strips. And sometimes you can even find little poems in here as well. But there's also beautiful, larger photos. You can see that with this magazine it is slightly glossier than some of the other ones. It's got a really glossy front cover, but when you go into it as well, the paper has a little bit more finish to it maybe than some of the other magazines. And it just definitely puts you in a really reflective space, state of mind. So yeah, a really nice magazine that can help you slow down the news. Taking a look at The Economist now. This one has a reputation maybe as being a little bit more full on than some of the other ones, but as you can see they still have the occasional really attractive front cover. When you open it up, something that you can get really stuck into if that's your thing. And they do have really nice graphs and charts to look at that try to sort of make sense of the world through numbers. I think it's really interesting just how broad some of the topics can be. They try to really take a very detailed and intellectual view of things. And there are some really nice photographs in here too. I think this is really a good read for anybody who wants to get a very in-depth look at certain news stories. So that's The Economist. Thanks again for watching this video. I hope it's given you some ideas on how you can follow the news at a slower pace. Don't forget to subscribe to keep seeing more of these videos, and leave a comment down below and tell me what your approach to the news is. Do you like to keep live up-to-date news on the go, or do you prefer a slower, more reflective look at world events? Until the next time, I'll see you in a bit.